Hey there, fellow deep divers. Ready to plunge into some fascinating territory today.
Always ready.
We're taking a deep dive into the ideas of Father Sean Ulwar.
A Catholic priest, you say?
He is, but with a bit of a twist.
Oh, how so?
Well, he calls himself a Catholic with a small c.
Interesting. What does that mean exactly?
He believes in the essence of Catholicism, but sees it as a universal truth.
So not just for those within the church.
Exactly. For everyone. We've got a stack of his talks and conversations.
Conversations with
Aubrey Marcus, the consciousness explorer.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of him. Sounds intriguing.
It is. And trust me, this is going to be a wild ride, ready to jump in.
Absolutely. Let's dive in.
Okay, so Father Sean doesn't shy away from the big questions, at all.
Like what? Give me an example.
Well, he tackles the nature of God head on.
Bold move. And what's his take?
He describes God as all that is.
All that is. That's a pretty expansive definition.
It is, right? It sounds simple at first, but when you really think about it.
It has huge implications.
Right. Suddenly you're seeing the divine spark in everything.
From a blade of grass to, the stars in the sky, it changes everything.
Exactly. But it also makes you wonder, where does that leave evil?
That's the question, isn't it? If God is everything, then...
Wouldn't evil also be a part of God?
It's a tough one to reconcile. What does Father Sean say about that?
Well, that's where his multifactorial theory of evil comes in.
Multifactorial. Okay, I'm listening.
He doesn't see evil as this separate force, battling it out with good.
So, not like a cosmic tug of war.
Nope. Instead, he sees it as a puzzle. A complex puzzle with lots of different pieces.
And those pieces contribute to the darkness we see in the world.
Exactly.
Okay, break it down for me. What are some of those puzzle pieces?
Well, he starts with free will. Our ability to choose.
Okay, so we can choose love and compassion.
Yes, but too often we choose selfishness and greed instead.
And those choices
Amplified across humanity.
create a lot of suffering.
Exactly.
Oh.
We see it every day.
Right. Yeah, people making choices that harm themselves and others.
It's kind of scary, actually, when you think about it,
What is?
that we have that much power.
Oh, yeah, to impact the world, even with small choices.
It's a lot of responsibility.
True. But Father Sean doesn't stop there. He brings in some other stuff.
Oh, like what?
Some pretty mind-blowing possibilities.
Okay, hit me with it.
He talks about advanced civilization.
Advanced civilizations.
Yeah, beings with incredible technology, way beyond ours.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
But he suggests they might not have the same level of ethical development.
So advanced tech, but not necessarily advanced morals.
Right. And get this, he even suggests they might be feeding off of human distress.
Whoa. Feeding off our distress. What does that even mean?
Well, he's suggesting they might be orchestrating conflicts.
Like starting wars and stuff?
Maybe for their own benefit.
Okay, now that's a thought I wasn't expecting. Advanced beings watching us.
Like some kind of cosmic reality show.
And profiting off our pain. That's straight out of a science fiction movie.
It does sound far out, but think about it. All the wars and violence throughout history.
Makes you wonder, right?
If there are forces at play that we're not aware of.
Yeah. It's a chilling possibility.
It is. And then there's the third piece of the puzzle.
Which is?
Our primal instincts. Our evolutionary history.
Okay. What about it?
Well, Father Sean believes that potentially descending from apes who were territorial and violent
Right.
might play a role in our capacity for evil.
So it's like we're carrying those shadows of the past within us.
Exactly. Like we're constantly battling between our higher aspirations.
And our darker urges.
Yeah.
That's a battle we can all relate to, I think.
Right. That feeling of being pulled in two directions.
Wanting to be good, but struggling with those impulses that come from who knows where.
It's like the old saying, the devil made me do it, but...
Maybe it's the ape within.
Maybe so. But it's important to remember that Father Sean doesn't see these factors as deterministic.
Meaning?
Meaning we're not just puppets. We're not controlled by external forces or instincts.
We still have a choice.
We do. We have the power to choose to evolve to transcend those limitations.
And that's where things get really interesting.
Absolutely.
Where do we go from here?
Well, let's follow Father Sean's own journey. He's been diligently recording his dream.
Recording his grief.
Since 1979.
Wow. 1979. That's dedication. But why? What's he looking for in those dreams?
He uses them as a tool for spiritual exploration.
So they're not just random images. There's something deeper going on.
For Father Sean, dreams are a direct line to deeper levels of reality.
Deeper levels of reality. Okay, now I'm really curious. What does that mean?
He believes that dreams are not just imaginary. They're different levels of densification of experience.
Densification. That's a new one for me.
Think of it like this. The physical world we experience is very dense, very solid.
Right.
Dreams, on the other hand, they exist on a more subtle plane.
Less dense, but no less real.
Exactly.
It's like comparing a rock to a cloud. You know, both real, just made of different stuff.
And existing on different vibrational levels.
Yeah. Okay, I get it. So what kind of insights is he getting from this less dense realm of dreams?
He's had some pretty incredible visions. One that stands out happened while he was battling COVID.
COVID. Wow.
He described souls gathering with God to create the cosmos.
Souls creating the cosmos with God.
And then choosing to participate in that creation rather than just observing it.
Wow, that's powerful. Like we all volunteered for our roles in this grand cosmic play.
It is a powerful image.
But it makes you wonder, why so much suffering? Did we choose that too?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? But Father Sean's vision suggests something important.
What's that?
We have a much deeper level of agency than we might realize. We're not just victims.
We're co-creators.
Yes, and that power to create extends beyond this physical world.
So our dreams aren't just passive experiences. We're shaping realities even while we sleep.
That's the idea. Pretty mind-blowing, right?
It is. Tell me more about these visions. Anything else he's seen in this less dense realm?
Well, he shared another incredible story about an astral encounter with a being by a creek.
Astral encounter. By a creek. All right, I'm hooked. What happened?
This being claimed to travel the universe, seeding life, even genetically modifying it.
Like a cosmic gardener, spreading life throughout the cosmos.
Exactly.
That sounds like something straight out of a science fiction novel.
It does, doesn't it?
But for Father Sean, it's just another Tuesday. What else did this being reveal?
Well, the being emphasized something important about free will.
Oh. What about free will?
It throws a wrench into the works.
How so?
Makes it impossible to control the outcome of the cosmic experiment.
Because free will is unpredictable.
Exactly. It's like we have the power to choose our own adventure.
But that adventure could lead to amazing things or utter chaos.
It's exciting and terrifying at the same time.
Right. It's like, with great power comes great responsibility. It seems like we're still figuring out how to use that power wisely.
We are. And that's a journey we're all on, isn't it?
It is. Maybe that struggle is part of what makes being human so fascinating.
The tension between our potential and our choices.
Yeah. Maybe the path to homo spiritualis, this enlightened future that Miss Father Sean talks about.
It's not about achieving perfect bliss.
Right. Maybe it's about learning to navigate those complexities, making conscious choices.
Using our free will to create a world that reflects our best selves, even if we stumble along the way.
That's beautiful. And it brings us to another idea Father Sean explores.
Which is
the idea that pain, even extreme suffering, can be used for something positive.
positive. Like what?
To realize our divine nature and develop compassion.
That's a tough one to wrap my head around. Suffering leading to compassion.
Right. It seems counterintuitive.
It does. How can suffering, something we instinctively avoid, lead to something good?
It's all about finding the gold in the darkness. Father Sean uses Aubrey Marcus as an example.
Aubrey Marcus. Okay, what about him?
He had a near-death experience.
Yeah.
And when he came back,
He felt
profound gratitude.
gratitude? For what?
For the gift of existence. Amplified by his brush with death.
He harvested the darkness, so to speak.
Exactly. Extracted wisdom and appreciation for life from something terrifying.
It's powerful. There's so many stories like that.
Right. People going through incredibly difficult things, and they come out the other side
Transform.
with a new sense of purpose, a deeper connection to themselves and the world.
Forged in fire, stronger and more resilient.
Exactly. And Father Sean connects this to the idea of the flagellants.
Flagellant.
Those individuals who induced mystical experiences through self-inflicted pain.
Wait, self-inflicted pain, that seems a bit extreme.
It does, right?
It does.
But Father Sean isn't advocating for self-harm. He's making a point
Okay, what's the point?
that confronting pain can lead to spiritual breakthroughs.
Whether it's physical or emotional pain.
Right. It's about facing our fears, our limitations, our shadows.
And finding the strength within to emerge transformed.
So it's like those challenges, those contractions are actually opportunities.
Opportunities for growth. Like we have to go through the darkness to appreciate the light.
It's a beautiful way to put it.
Mhm.
And that brings us to one of Father Sean's most revolutionary ideas,
Oh, what is it?
his perspective on Jesus.
Okay, lay it on me. What's his take?
He had a vision,
A vision of...
and in this vision, Jesus revealed something.
Go on.
He said he is a prototype,
A prototype, meaning...
to be imitated, not just adored.
So not putting him on a pedestal and worshiping him,
Exactly.
but embodying his teachings.
Yes, his love, his compassion.
Becoming living examples of Christ consciousness ourselves.
Exactly. It's a pretty empowering message.
It is. It shifts the focus from external worship to inner transformation.
Recognizing that the divine spark is within each of us.
Yes.
And that brings us back to the idea of the shadow self, right?
That part of ourselves we tend to hide.
The darker aspects of our personality.
If we're meant to embody Christ consciousness, that means integrating those shadow parts too.
Right.
Theirs.
Father Sean believes that confronting our shadow is essential
Essential for what?
for accessing our full potential. He even had some pretty harrowing experiences confronting his own shadow.
Oh, where?
In Kenya, facing some deep, uncomfortable truth about himself.
Sounds intense.
It was.
Yeah.
Like going into the basement and opening those dusty boxes you've been avoiding for years.
Scary stuff. What did he find in there?
He emphasizes that the shadow is 80% gold.
80% gold?
Full of unrealized potential, just waiting to be alchemized.
So it's not about denying or suppressing our shadow.
Nope. It's about shining a light on it, integrating it, using it to fuel our growth.
That's where the real transformation happens.
Becoming whole, not perfect.
And when we integrate our shadow,
We become like radiant suns,
radiant suns,
sharing our light with the world.
it's a beautiful image. But how do we actually integrate our shadow?
That's where Father Sean offers a practical framework. He calls it the 5 L's.
5 L's. Okay, I'm intrigued.
Love, light, logos, life, and laughter.
Those are 5 L's.
They are. And they sound like a powerful recipe for transformation, right?
Personal and collective.
Exactly.
They really are. And they build upon each other beautifully. It all starts with love.
Love. Okay, tell me more.
Father Sean explains that love is the foundation, like the primordial source.
Everything flows from it.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
the creative force, the fuel for the whole universe.
So love isn't just a feeling.
It's more than that.
It's the driving force behind everything.
It is. It's pretty radical when you think about it.
It is. So what's the next L?
Light. And from love, light emerges. Father Sean connects this to physics, actually.
Physics. How so?
Well, you know how quantum mechanics reveals that matter is essentially frozen light?
Yeah, I've heard that.
It's like everything we see, everything we touch, even our own bodies.
We're all made of light.
Walking, talking, bundles of energy.
Mind-blowing. Okay, so we've got love, light. What's next?
Logos. Think of logos as the architect, like the cosmic blueprint.
Giving form and structure to the universe.
Yes, it molds light into all the incredible diversity of life.
So love provides the energy.
And logos provides the structure.
Together, they create the symphony of life.
Beautifully put. And that life, infused with love, light, and logos, it seeks to express itself.
To experience the joy of existence.
Right.
So that's where laughter comes in.
Bingo. Enlightenment isn't all serious contemplation,
There's room for joy, for playfulness.
Absolutely. Laughter is a sign of true enlightenment, Father Sean says.
A release from the illusions that bind us.
Exactly. When we can laugh at ourselves, at the absurdity of it all.
It shows a level of detachment, freedom from taking ourselves too seriously.
It is refreshing, isn't it?
It is.
Mhm.
It's like those moments when you can just laugh at the chaos.
Knowing it's all part of a bigger picture.
Yeah, cosmic dance.
Precisely. And that lightness, that humor, it's contagious.
It ripples outward, uplifting those around us.
Contributing to a more joyful world.
So it's not just about our own personal enlightenment.
Right. It's about sharing that joy with others.
Being those warriors on the way, as he calls them.
Exactly. Remember the midwives.
Guiding mothers through childbirth.
He sees those who are awakening, to their spiritual nature.
As midwives for humanity.
Guiding us through these turbulent times of transformation.
Like we're all going through a collective birth, a transition to a new era.
And those further along the path, they're helping us navigate the contractions.
The challenges.
Yeah.
And helping us emerge into a new reality. It's powerful stuff.
It is. And Father Sean believes that anyone can become a warrior on the way.
It's not about having special powers or being a guru.
Nope. It's about embodying those 5 L's.
Love, light, logos, life, and laughter.
And sharing them with the world.
Okay, so how do we do that? What are some practical steps?
Well, he emphasizes aligning our actions with love.
Okay, so not just feeling love, but acting from it.
Exactly. He has the suggestion. Ask yourself a question. When faced with any challenge,
What would love do in this situation?
you got it. It's like a compass guiding our choices.
Helping us navigate those tricky situations where the right path isn't clear.
Precisely. And remember how we talked about light?
Connected to awareness.
The more aware we are, the more light we bring in to our lives and the lives of those around us.
Shining a light into the darkness.
Dispelling the ignorance and confusion.
But how do we cultivate that awareness? It's easy to get caught up in life and lose sight of things.
That's where practices like meditation and mindfulness come in.
Quieting the mind.
Tuning into the present moment. That's how we start to see things clearly.
Connect with our intuition.
And access our inner wisdom.
So it's about developing a deeper level of presence.
Yes. Of awareness.
Yeah.
And that awareness helps us connect with logos too.
That organizing principle we talked about.
Right. When we're more aware, we can make more conscious choices. Ones that align with our values and goals.
Like, we become the architects of our own lives.
Shaping our reality with intention and purpose. Couldn't have said it better myself. And then, of course, there's the L of life itself.
Father Sean reminds us to savor the joy.
The beauty that's available to us in every moment.
So it's not all about striving for some future state of enlightenment.
It's about appreciating the present moment.
The simple pleasures.
The gift of being alive.
It all leads to the final L then.
Laughter. That spontaneous expression of joy that comes from recognizing the beauty of it all.
And the absurdity.
Yes. Like when you can just laugh at the chaos, knowing it's all part of a bigger dance.
And that laughter is contagious. It lifts us up, reminds us that even amidst challenges,
there's always something to smile about.
always. And Father Sean reminds us of another important thing.
What's that?
We're not meant to walk this path alone,
We need each other.
to connect with like-minded souls.
To support and inspire each other.
It's like those warriors on the way are forming a tribe.
A collective force for positive change.
And that tribe isn't limited to any specific religion or tradition.
Right. It's about embracing diversity, recognizing the shared humanity that connects us.
Working together to create a world where everyone can thrive.
That's the dream. And that world, that vision of Homo spiritualis,
It's not some distant utopia.
it's something we can start building right now with every choice we make.
We're co-creators, as he says.
Powerful, isn't it?
It's empowering and daunting at the same time.
It is. But I love that Father Sean calls us to action.
He doesn't just give us these high-level concepts.
He reminds us that we have a role to play.
That we are warriors of light.
That's right. And speaking of action, there are some challenging issues he talks about,
But wait,
like the abortion debate. He offers a really interesting perspective.
challenges both pro-choice and pro-life stances.
He does. He presents this framework for approaching the issue thoughtfully.
Instead of taking rigid stances.
Exactly. He wants us to consider 5 key factors.
All right, those 5 factors you're about to tell me. Tell me in.
Okay, so first, he considers the stage of development.
Stage of development of the fetus, you mean?
Yeah. He says there's a big difference between an early embryo and a late-term fetus.
Makes sense. A cluster of cells versus a fetus that could, like, potentially live outside the womb.
Right. It's a sliding scale, more complex as the pregnancy progresses.
Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah.
What else? What are the other factors?
Well, he also brings up the circumstances.
Circumstances surrounding the pregnancy, you mean?
Exactly. Things like rape, incest, medical risks to the mother, financial hardship.
Right, right. All those things can influence the decision.
Absolutely. And then he introduces this idea of a preconception contract.
Hold on. A preconception contract. What's that all about?
He's asking, did the soul agree to this?
Agree to what?
To this specific mother and this particular situation on a soul level.
That's an interesting thought.
It is, isn't it? It goes beyond our usual way of thinking about pregnancy.
It does. So much more than just the mother's rights. What else does he consider?
The potential of the child.
Potential. What do you mean?
What's their soul's mission? What might they accomplish in their lifetime?
So we have to take that into account, too.
He thinks so. It's another layer.
Another layer of complexity.
Exactly. And then there's this idea of limited conduits.
Conduits. Human conduits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For souls wanting to incarnate.
Okay. So if one potential pathway is closed,
What happens? Where does that soul go?
deep questions. Makes you think about the bigger picture.
It does, doesn't it? The whole thing with soul evolution.
It seems like Father Sean isn't trying to give a simple answer at all.
He's not. He's encouraging a deeper approach, more compassion.
Less dogma, like how he talks about being Catholic with a small c.
Exactly. And we see that same nuanced approach with violence, too.
Violence and self-defense, you mean?
Yep. He acknowledges the difficult reality of violence,
Mm-hmm.
but he also believes in self-defense.
So is he pro-violence or anti-violence?
It's more complex than that. He even justifies Israel's actions.
Israel's actions. Interesting.
He talks about their history of being attacked, their need to protect themselves.
I see. So he makes a distinction then.
He does. Between wars fought for survival and wars fought for greed or power.
Right, like the classic saying,
Violence begets violence.
we have to be careful not to perpetuate the cycle, even when we feel justified,
I agree. Finding that balance, it's crucial.
between protecting ourselves and avoiding unnecessary harm.
Maybe that's another part of Homo Spiritualis.
Speaking of Homo Spiritualis, what about those stages of labor?
The birth of this new humanity.
Powerful analogy.
It is. So the first stage, he calls it BPM-1.
BPM-1,
It's like the womb of Eden.
the Garden of Eden, before everything went wrong.
Yeah, that state of primal harmony, living in balance.
The good old days.
But then comes BPM-2, the contractions.
Oh no, sounds painful.
A world in crisis.
Like today,
It does feel that way, doesn't it?
climate change, political turmoil, the whole world is contracting.
But those contractions are necessary. Think of
Yeah.
it like the water breaking, the cervix dilating.
There's no going back.
Nope. Intense pressure, uncertainty, but also new possibilities.
Hope amidst the chaos.
Exactly. And that's where BPM-3 comes in. The opening,
What emerges?
the warriors on the way. They guide us through the birth canal,
They're like the light workers, the change makers,
leading the way to a better future.
holding the light in the darkness.
And then the grand finale. BPM-4, the birth.
Homo Spiritualis enters the world.
Into a new reality. Love, compassion, interconnection, all reign supreme.
Inspiring. We have a part to play in all of this, right?
We do. We're not just watching. We're active participants, co-creators.
We get to choose which path we take,
We do. Homo sociopathicus, Homo artificialis, or Homo spiritualis.
each with its own set of values.
And consequences. Father Sean is pretty clear about the dangers
Dangers of what?
of fundamentalism, rigid beliefs that lead to division and conflict.
So we need to be aware of that and choose a different path.
A path of love, compassion, unity.
Become warriors of light.
Stand up for what's right. Create a world that reflects our best selves.
Even small actions matter.
Every choice has an impact, like throwing a pebble into a pond. The ripples spread out.
Beautiful image. It all comes back to that idea. We're all interconnected.
We are, and that's perhaps the most important message.
The power is within us to change the world.
We're not just victims, we're co-creators.
What a powerful reminder. It's been an incredible journey. Thanks for being our guide.
My pleasure. Remember, the journey to Homo Spiritualis doesn't end here.
We keep exploring, keep questioning, keep choosing love.
That's it. And hey, if you're hungry for more conversations like this,
Be sure to check back daily for new episodes. And if you're ready to take a deep dive into your own transformation,
visit www.ultimatemasters.org coaching.
until next time, deep divers, keep shining your light.